equations. Now, we're not going to look at everything in this section. We're going to look at a few problems, okay, just because I kind of know what you need to learn for pre-calc and for calculus, and so that's why we're going to pare it down. And so first of all, in solving radical equations, there are 4 steps you need to go through. The first one is to isolate the radical on one side of the equation. Okay. The second is to raise each side of the equation to a power in order to eliminate the radical. The third step is to solve the resulting equation. And then number 4 says check your results so that you don't have an extraneous solution. So this is probably a new word for you, extraneous, isn't it? So let's look. What do you think it means? What's the root word? Extra. Basically, an extraneous solution is an extra solution that doesn't work. Okay? So instead of saying have an extra solution, they use the word extraneous. So anyway, let's go ahead and look at the first one here. Okay, the square root of x plus 2 plus 4 equals 7. So if you remember the very first step, isolate the radical. So how do you isolate the radical? What do? You subtract 4. Yep, subtract 4 from both sides. On the left side, you have root x plus 2. On the right side, what do you have? 3. Okay, so that's step 1. We isolate the radical. Step 2, raise each side of the equation to a power to get rid of the root. Well, how do you undo a square root? You square, so I'm going to square both sides. Okay, on the left, when you square root, you're left with x plus 2. On the right, what do you have? 9. That's step 2. Step 3 is to solve. So you minus 2. And you get x to equal 7. Step 4 is to check. So we're going to plug 7 back into the original problem, and we're going to see if it works. So I end up having 7 plus 2 plus 4. So root 7 plus 2 is root 9 plus 4. What is root 9? Does 3 plus 4 equal 7? Yep. So x equals 7 is the solution, and that's it. Okay. Let's look at another one. 5 equals root x minus 2 minus 1. What do you do? Add 1 because you need to get the radical all by itself. So I get 6 to equal root x minus 2. What do you do now? Square it. On the left, what do you get? 36. On the right, what do you get? X minus 2. What do you do now? Add 2. So what do you get x to equal? Okay, so let's go ahead and plug 38 in. So you get root 36 minus 1. So does 5 equal 6 minus 1? Yep, so that is the solution. So far, so good?
I knew it wasn't. There is always a catch. Oh, what is it?
Now, remember, what's the first step? Isolate the radical. Don't you already have a radical isolated? So now we need to get rid of the root. So I'm going to square both sides here. Now on the left side, that's fairly easy, because when you square that, you get x minus 12. On the right side, it's not as easy, because when you square something, you take it times itself. So what do we have to do there? FOIL. You have to distribute. So first terms, what do you get? 4 minus 2 root x. Okay. What do you get from the inside term? Minus 2 root x. What do you get from the last terms? plus square root of x squared, which is just x. Now, if you've done this correctly, okay, you should have your x's on each side and they'll cancel. So now what needs to happen is I need to get the numbers on one side. I'm going to prefer to move the numbers to the left. So I'm going to subtract 4. So on the left side, what are you left with? Negative 16. On the right side, let's see what I have left. I have negative 2 root x, which is negative 4 root x. What do you do now? Divide by negative 4. So you get 4 to equal root x. What do you do now? Square it. So what do we get? So now what do we have to do? Plug it in. So let's see. So we have root 16 minus 12. Does that equal 2 minus root 16? So what's root 16 minus 12 going to be? Root 4, which is 2. And then I get 2 minus 4. So I get 2 to equal negative 2. Does that work? No. 2 doesn't equal negative 2. So your answer is no solution. Your answer is no solution. Okay? Okay, now we're going to change this one a little bit. Okay? We're going to change this one a little bit. So hold on. I'm actually going to change real quick because I had a change in plans here. So let's go ahead and change this problem so that it is root x minus 4 equals root 2x minus 13. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get rid of that one we just looked at. Okay, that's the one we're going to look at instead. So now this one's a little different because this one says isolate the radical while we have 2 radicals. So let's just go ahead and square both sides. Good call. So if I square both sides, I get x minus 4 to equal 2x minus 13. And then now that's just a basic equation. You just solve it. So let's subtract x, and let's add 13. So what do you get x to equal? 9. So now we have to do what? Plug it in. So we have to see, does root 9 minus 4 equal root 2 times 9 minus 13? So what is root 9 minus 4? Root 5. What do you get there? Root 5. Ah, so that is your answer. Questions? Okay, remember our test is Thursday and Friday. Tomorrow is a review. This is what you need to do for me. I've got 6 problems for you. And we just did 4 in class, so you should hopefully be able to move fairly quick through those. Actually, you know what, let's change. I'm going to do one little change here. We're going to do 23, 24, 28, 30, 32, and 34. So basically, I'm not having you do 26, and I'm having you do 23 in place of 26. Okay? So 6 problems. So 23, 24, 28, 30, 32, and 34.